I, as the first female chief secretary in Tobago, have every intention of leading this island to modernization. I want to say to all of you this evening that we in the People's National Movement, we are focused on wealth generation. We are focused on ensuring that we have an expanded private sector and the space where each and every Tobagonian can thrive. Women of substance, don't you agree? Women coming from Tobago East, don't you agree? And so when you listen to Franca Cordner, coming from the electoral district of Palativale, Lansamy, Speyside, and Nadine Stewart Phillips, I am sure you would agree with me that the People's National Movement has a platform of women with substance. Okay. And so, a pleasant good evening to each and everyone. Permit me to recognize in our midst here this evening all of the party executives. I see the General Secretary in our audience, as well as the Lady Vice Chairman. I want to recognize former members of the Assembly who are present. And most importantly, I want to recognize our current crop of candidates in this upcoming Tobago House of Assembly elections, and those who will take us forward beyond December 6, 2021. Give them a hearty round of applause. And of course, to all of the members of the People's National Movement who have come from near and far to be present at this facility to give support to our prospective candidate for Roxborough Argyle, I bid you a pleasant evening. And to those of you who are listening, whether it be on the television or on the World Wide Web, I hail you out as well tonight. And so we are in deep Tobago East. We are in the electoral district of Roxborough Argyle. And this is one of the electoral districts that we will be taking home come the night of December 6, 2021. I sat there and I listened to Nadine Stewart Phillips, the prospective candidate, a lady who is well seasoned in politics because she has served us very well in the parliament as a senator. She served us very well in the division of tourism and culture and transportation, and she has worked with me endlessly in the division of health, wellness and family development as the assistant secretary. So if it is that we are talking about people with experience, Nadine Stewart Phillips has it. If we are talking about youth, Nadine Stewart Phillips has it. If we are talking about people who understand what true representation is, Nadine Stewart Phillips has it. And that is why she will become the next era representative for this electoral district. When I listen to Nadine tonight, friends, and those of you who are listening, what I hear from Nadine is that how you campaign is in fact how you will govern. And so if you campaign on the basis of lies, it is only fair to say that you will govern on the basis of lies. And I remember very clearly the live that was on Facebook, because we know that they are social media and Facebook experts. As a matter of fact, that is the only safe seat they have. And they were in Betsy up, they were in Roxborough, they were in Argyle, all over the place parading that they're going to fix this and fix that. And up to this point, they have not demonstrated that they have fixed anything in the electoral district. And so that lady that Nadine Stewart Phillips is talking about tonight, I know her. I know of her circumstances. And Watson Duke did in fact take a vulnerable lady and expose all of her vulnerabilities to the world. And so that is the kind of individual that we get from Watson Duke, ladies and gentlemen. And so tonight I want to start off by saying to each and every one of you that this is an election that is based on people and how we are going to serve people going forward. I want to say to all of you tonight that our direction is in fact people-centered, and we are looking to define the new moment and the new future for the people of Tobago. We are not about making empty promises at all. The promises that we make to you, ladies and gentlemen, will be backed by a solid plan and a plan of action that will come with the required finances to implement. And that is why when we speak from experience. We speak from a platform of knowing what is going on. And so whatever we tell you on this platform and on this hosting, we know how we are going to finance it going forward, unlike the others. They talk from a point of no experience. They talk from a point of pulling things from the sky. They talk from a point of pulling things from space. And so, as I told you all at the launch of our campaign, if you fall, if you grasp at anything, you will in fact fall for nothing. And so today I am using this opportunity to warn each and every Tobagonian that this election is in fact a very serious election, because this is about defining your future. This is about protecting your future. This is about ensuring that you vote into office a government, a vehicle, a party that will take you through the challenges that we are experiencing with COVID. This is what this is all about. And so, Tobagonians, you have sense. You are big people. Listen to what is said and follow the truth, and you will get the truth from the People's National Movement platform. We have been talking to all of you. We have been listening. I, as the political leader, have been there with you, listening to what all of your challenges are, and we will offer solutions in terms of how we can treat with those challenges going forward. And so tonight I want to say to all of the people of Roxborough, this is my second hometown, I want to say to the people of Tobago East that you are not to take any chances with your future. This is about ensuring that you protect your children, your grandchildren, the purses of your grandparents, and all that are within your household. This is what this is all about, ladies and gentlemen. And as I said some time before, we have a vision. And most importantly, we have a plan for the people of Tobago. We have a plan for you. And when we tell you that we got this, when we tell you that we got you, we are telling you the truth, ladies and gentlemen. And so in this battle for pandemic, in this battle for the COVID-19 and to bring Tobago out of this situation, I want to make a clarion call to single mothers wherever you are. I want to make a clarion call to fathers, to grandparents, to youth, to our young adults, to the business owners, the dreamers, the doers, and even the thinkers, ladies and gentlemen. Because I want you to know, and we in the People's National Movement want you to know that you are our only priority going forward. We got you and we got this. This is what it's all about on this platform. I want to say to all of you this evening, those of you who are listening here, that I, as the political leader, I, as the first female chief secretary in Tobago, have every intention of leading this island to modernization. I want to say to all of you this evening that we in the People's National Movement, we are focused on wealth generation. We are focused on ensuring that we have an expanded private sector and a space where each and every Tobagonian can thrive, no matter what your limitations are. So if we're talking to the boys on the block, we have a space for you in our administration. If we are talking about the single mothers, we have a space for you in this administration. If we are talking about the not so young and the not so old, we have a space for you in this administration going forward, under the leadership of Tracy Davidson-Celestine, an experienced politician. We speak from a platform of truth. And so the strength and the stability of the PNM will be delivered to your door. It will be delivered to your gate. It will be delivered to your street and even to your village and districts. And that is why we have chosen 15 or 14 rather candidates who understand each and every electoral district, who understand that they are to go out there in the communities and to represent the people going forward. 15 electoral districts, smaller electoral districts, less people to manage. It means that under my leadership, each and every representative should know each and every resident in their electoral district by name. And this is what I offer to you here this evening. We are not about driving around in Prados and big black vehicles. We are about dressing up in boots. We are about putting on with Gideon suits. We are about ensuring that we go out there in short sleeve and work with each and every one of you. We are about reconnecting with you, the people on the ground, wherever we are. And so under my leadership, there will be a new vibration. There will be a new vision under the leadership of Tracy Davidson-Celestine. And I want to tell all of you people tonight that I have been preparing for all of this all of my life. Come January 2022, I will have a young little short me, 17 years, 17 political years, serving all of you, the people of Tobago. And so this is what it's all about. I am not talking about shame in leadership. I am not talking about hiding behind anybody. I have nobody to hide behind. I am leading from in front. And there will be times that I will lead from the back and even in the middle. But in this installation, in this election, Tracy Davidson-Celestine will be leading from the front. This is what it's all about. I want to say to all of you right-thinking Tobagonians, in the history of politics, and you pay attention to it, it is the political leaders who lead the party into election. Let us look at Trinidad. We have two established political parties. We have the People's National Movement, now led by the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley. Today I looked at his campaign team, and I saw big and bold the image of Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley leading his team in the last election in August. I looked over on the other side and I saw Kamala, regardless of her challenges, regardless of what would have transpired in the UNC under their leadership, she is leading that team big and bold. Here in Tobago, with this Tobago House of Assembly election, under the People's National Movement, Tracy Davidson-Celestine stands out and is leading her team. Let us look at what is happening on the other side, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I saw the flyer published big and bold and I'm looking for the political leader. I saw about 4 or 5 lines. I think they had about, 15 candidates. And all the way down to the bottom somewhere hiding. Hiding. Watson, where art thou? Hiding. And we, as Tobagonians, have to ask ourselves, why is Watson Duke, the political leader of the PDP, hiding? Is he hiding from Farley? Is he hiding from you? Is he hiding from the police? We have to ask ourselves the question, ladies and gentlemen. Because as I said to all of you, the people of Tobago, we are who we say we are. I am who I say I am. I am Tracy Davidson-Celestine, 17 years of political experience. I have worked in almost every division of the Tobago House of Assembly. I have worked internationally in Costa Rica, responsible for 5 countries of Central America. And so I come here to you not only with integrity, but I come to you with experience. And most importantly, I come to you, the people of Tobago, with a vision and a plan. So I want to say this evening, ladies and gentlemen, that our first priority after we have been returned to govern the Tobago House of Assembly on December 6th is autonomy. Yes, that very big word that some of us might not even understand. But all it means at the end of the day is that we, the people of Tobago, will have the authority, legislatively, financially, and otherwise, to do the things that we say that we want to do. But, ladies and gentlemen, we lost a golden opportunity. I think it was somewhere in June or July. And why did we lose that opportunity? Did you all ask yourselves? It is not because we had lack of PNM representation in the parliament. It is not because we have had lack of PNM representation in Tobago. It is because the people on the other side had their own personal agendas, which they have put over the Tobago agenda. That is why we are saying to you this evening that it has to be people before politics going forward. And so what happened, ladies and gentlemen? Watson wasn't so sure what he wanted. As a matter of fact, at first he thought it was independence. But more recently, I heard that it's secession. Farley wants to be chief secretary without going through the normal process, which is one where the political leaders become either prime minister, as in the case of Trinidad, or in the case of Tobago, they will become chief secretary. And so Farley is not even so sure that what Watson has said to him that he will become chief secretary if they win. So he decided that he is not supporting the Tobago Autonomy Bill because he's not so sure that the bill in its current state would give him that kind of prominence that Watson said that he will get. But if you listen to all of Tobago, we know otherwise. And if you have been following the utterings and the rant of the PDP leader, you would know that that basket cannot hold any water. And so people of Tobago, we're big and we have sense. We have to start thinking. And most importantly, we have to start making the comparison. This is what it's all about, the vehicle of the People's National Movement as opposed to the vehicle of the PDP. And what you get on the other side is bacchanal and kankatang and chaos. But with us, you have a lifetime of predictability and a lifetime of stability and a lifetime of increases in your standard of living. And so because of that bacchanal, because of them working with the UNC, Tobago has lost out. I felt it in my heart. I felt it in my bones. Because come October 2021, we would have been able to receive $1.2 billion more for our development and recurrent infrastructure here on this island. And what does $1.2 billion equate to? It equates to jobs. I know, and the prospective candidate for Roxborough knows, because she has been walking the length and breadth of the electoral district, that people are asking for jobs. That $1.2 billion, some of it could have been put aside to create employment in Roxborough, Argyle. Yet the one on the other side telling people, come Christmas, I will give you an ex gratia payment. But as the campaign rolls out, you would hear more in terms of what an ex gratia payment is all about. That $1.2 billion equivalent to over $4 billion on a 4-year term could mean for us more development in terms of road infrastructure. It could mean for us more access roads for our farmers so that they can go forth and produce comfortably, and so that we can treat with the whole issue of food security that we have been advancing. It means that we could have been able to grant more incentives to the business sector and to create more employment for people out there. And that is what that $4-point-something billion is really equate to. But these two gentlemen, along with their friends in UNC, put their own individual interest over the interest of the people of Tobago. And this is what it's all about. And so right now in the parliament, we have a stalemate. But I want to tell you that with the collaboration of the PNM-led government, we are going to advocate, we are going to make noise, we are going to march if we have to, so that we get that autonomy for the people of Tobago. We have lost out on the ability to make laws. So they are telling you we will fix this and we will fix that and we will change this and we will change that and we will change the other. But I have been in the Tobago House of Assembly, and every time we go to the House, it could only be a policy, it could only be a program, it could only be us asking the other side to endorse this program or initiative. We have not made one law since 1996. We have not made one law, and that is because we are not legislators. That is because we do not have the legal authority to make any laws here in Tobago. And Watson and Farley hung up with their friends in Trinidad and prevented the people of Tobago from having their own laws. Let us look at how this pandemic has been affecting us. We could have created our own laws here. So Watson is all over the place telling people that he will open up beaches. On what basis is he going to open those beaches? But if we were able to make laws here, I, as the health secretary, could have taken a motion to the plenary to be debated and passed on so that we can have our own Tobago-specific arrangements to treat with the COVID. All we have now is the central government making those laws on our behalf. And this is what it is. So when this individual comes to you with his cock and bull story, you have to have sense and you have to reason and you have to ask yourselves the question, ladies and gentlemen, because this, as I said, is what it's all about. And so we have lost out on an opportunity to gain a minimum of 6.8% as opposed to a minimum of 4.03%. We have lost out on an opportunity to promote our administrators to the level of deputy permanent secretary. We have lost out on that opportunity. And so all because, as I said, of the people on the other side. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let me take a water break. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is about our future at the end of the day. These are times when we have to think with our heads, we have to think with our hearts, we have to think with our minds, because the stability that you now enjoy in times of chaos, you are not so sure to achieve that kind of stability going forward. And so if Tobago is to recover from the economic and social injuries inflicted by COVID-19 and even the pandemic, we have to be able to respond flexibly. And more than that, we have to be able to respond quickly. And that is what autonomy affords us. We can make our laws. We have more money. We have the ability to invest. We have the ability to sit around the table with international partners and to make decisions as it affects Tobago. That is what it's all about. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that at the end of the day, I am sometimes appalled I am sometimes peeved when I look again at what is happening on the other side. And we heard the rantings from the madman saying, I want to be Prime Minister. And so the question is, Prime Minister of what? Is it Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago? Could you be Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago in a Tobago House of Assembly election? Well, at least he tried in the general election and he got a good licking from our Tobago East representative, Mrs. Ayana Webster Roy. But be Prime Minister of what? Therefore, it has to be Prime Minister of Tobago. How do you get to that point of being Prime Minister of Tobago? It means that you have to either have independence or it means that you have to secede from Trinidad. And that is their first order of business. That is their first order of priority. And so we have to ensure that we are able to sleep comfortably at night. We have to ensure that people like Watson and Farley don't get into the office of the Tobago House of Assembly because, as I said, we are going to have sleepless nights. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want to add that there are so much benefits to be had if we were to work with a PNM central government from Trinidad. So many benefits, and we have seen it even in this electoral district. And you heard from the prospective candidate in terms of some of the benefits that would have been accrued to this electoral district and to this community from that collaboration with Trinidad. We have a brand new police station lighting up nicely. We have a brand new fire station, well lit, creating employment for hundreds of Tobagonians. And we have a spanking brand new hospital and health center, again, serving the needs of the people of the Tobago East Electoral District and ensuring that we can create employment in the process. And that is as a result of the collaboration. So why are we talking autonomy? Why are we talking secession? Why are we talking independence at this point in time? When there are so many benefits to be had from having that kind of relationship with a PNM central government and, of course, a PNM Tobago House of Assembly. And I want to tell you that there is no shame in that because we know there is information and evidence in terms of how they are going to work with us going forward. And at the helm, ladies and gentlemen, we have our boy, a Prime Minister who is very passionate about Tobago's development, very passionate. And so wherever we fall short in Tobago, he's going to pick up the rear end. And we had fallen short in terms of supplemental funding to manage COVID. We had the discussion, Secretary of Finance would tell you $100 million to help to manage COVID. The Division of Community Development and Enterprise Development fell short, and the Secretary would tell you $5 or $10 million to assist the business sector. The Secretary of Finance and the Secretary of Tourism and Chief Secretary will tell you when we fell short in terms of funding for the tourism sector, we got $100 million, ladies and gentlemen. And this is because of the kind of relationship and the collaboration, and most importantly, a Prime Minister who is at the helm, who is very passionate about Tobago's development. Look at how the leader on the other side refers to our Tobago-born Prime Minister. Rowley and Rowley and Rowley and Rowley had to come down from there. Tell me, with that kind of behavior, do you expect any kind of relationship that will bring any benefits to the people of Tobago? These are the questions that we have to ask ourselves in this election. Look at the brand new ferries that we recently acquired. We are traveling in first class. I don't know if you understand what we have achieved as a people under the leadership of the People's National Movement, under the administration of the People's National Movement. I have gone to regions, I have gone to Caribbean countries, I went to St. Vincent, I went with small islands, and I have had to travel in some kind of boats, and I've had to ask myself the question, but look at the class of ferries that we have to transport us between Tobago and Trinidad and Tobago. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to add before I leave this stage that we have a vision. And the vision will be articulated by all of us because it is one shared vision at the end of the day. And my charges, my team would ensure that when they get into office that they will start almost immediately to implement that vision. We don't have to sit down and fight and wonder if Joel understands what the vision is or if it is that they and still understand what the vision is, because we have two different political philosophies and two different ideologies, and one saying one thing over here, the other saying something over here, one saying let us be vaccinated, the other saying no, we're not going to be vaccinated. One vision, one political philosophy, and all of them would be working with me to implement that vision. And that vision is a well-diversified Tobago, and one that is self-sustaining. That vision is to be driven by healthy people. That vision is to be driven largely by the private sector, with the Tobago House of Assembly taking up a catalytic role, creating an enabling environment. This is what it's all about for us. This is not about the Tobago House of Assembly getting into everything and in everybody's way. This is about you, the people, becoming entrepreneurs. This is about you, the people, creating and generating wealth. We could be like Singapore, though we're small, with little, yes, but with Talawa. And with me and my vision, we are going to get there. And so we want to govern in a way that will ensure that our people out there in the communities are taken care of. And in terms of some of the plans going forward, and you have heard it from one of our speakers, we have created over 10,000 jobs. Yes, we have created over 10,000 jobs. And so Tobago's unemployment in 2001, sometimes we don't remember the things, and we have to take the opportunities to remind you. In 2001, when the People's National Movement came into office, unemployment was at a high of 13%. And now in 2021, it is at a low of 5%. And that is basically full employment. But we know that we still have to create some opportunities. And that is why I have been saying that we will create over 3,000 jobs. And that is in concert with the private sector. Because we understand that there are quite a lot of young people, wherever you are, who have all kind of degrees. They come to me, they are nurses, they are this, they are that, psychologists, etc., and they're looking for jobs. And we have to be in a position to respond to our young people out there. 3,000 jobs we are going to create with the help of the private sector. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we will represent you. We got you. We are going to work with and we are going to work for you. We are going to ensure that we facilitate mortgages for the 25 to 40-year-old, because we know that people are struggling through this time of COVID. Women message me, I meet them in my electoral district office, and let me shout out the people of Signal Hill, Patience Hill, including Orange Hill and parts of Lambo and Union and Spring Garden. Let me shout you all out, because when I stand there, I represent you as well, and I don't want you all to feel that I am not talking about you, but your time will come. But we are going to facilitate mortgages for the 25 to 40-year-olds. And for those who are earning less than $10,000 per month, and that, of course, we will do in collaboration with the central government, the Trinidad and Tobago Mortgage Finance, and then the other banks. We are going to ensure that we distribute over 300 acres of agricultural land at Belmont and at Friendship Estate. And already we have started the process. You have heard from the Chief Secretary and the Secretary of Agriculture. And most importantly, the Secretary of Finance has already identified the $30 million that we will ensure that we spend on the people who are in agriculture. This is what this is all about, a new vision, a new kind of delivery under the leadership of Tracy Davidson-Celestine. Under my leadership and with the support of my team, I will ensure that we create a division of information and technology. And with that division coming into existence, we will be able to contribute to the 3,000 jobs that I'm talking to you about. There will be new opportunities for people like programmers. There would be new opportunities for people who are into web page development. But most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move to a paperless Tobago House of Assembly. We are going to move to a position where people could stay at home and access the services of the THA, because COVID requires that. COVID requires us to be more innovative. COVID requires us to be more creative. And through that division of information and technology, we will ensure that we are able to respond to your needs and to the request for services in a faster time frame. Because this is what it is all about, a new Tobago, a new vision led by experienced people. And so we will work to ensure that we distribute 100 starter homes, of course, to eligible people. And we are going to also ensure that in that arrangement, we cater for the single mothers, that we cater for the daily paids, that we cater for the police, the military, that we cater for people who are in dire need of not only land, but homes as well. We are singling you out tonight. And last, but I wouldn't say by no means least, we will ensure that we create an expanded private sector and one that will drive this economy. And going forward, you will hear of my plan to ensure that we expand the private sector. The incentives will come, but we need to ensure those incentives are entrenched in law, and that is why we have to advocate for autonomy. That is why we have to advocate for autonomy, because I was the secretary responsible for tourism and transportation, and I would listen to the stakeholders lament time and time again. Tobago has to have its own package of incentives, one that will compete well with the tourism Caribbean countries of the region. And so going forward, I'm going to ensure that we advocate for autonomy and that we have a package of incentives that can help to drive and to boost the private sector. And so I just want to say that at the end of the day, that the PNM is going to deliver. We have already started the process of identifying funding. Through the Division of Infrastructure and the Economy, we have placed bonds on the market. I can't remember my accounting. I've been in politics for so long. But through that division, we are going to ensure that we have the monies available from that bond financing arrangement, so that within the first 6 months of taking up office, we are going to start the process of distributing lands. We are going to start the process of establishing the Division of Information and Technology. We are going to start the process of effecting delivery and change to the people of Tobago. And as I am on the topic of change, I just want to say to all of you that the People's National Movement is also changing. What do I mean by that? Because we have been in office for the last 65, we have been around for the last 65 years. We have been in office for the last 20 years. So what kind of change you're talking about? Let us look at the organization of the People's National Movement. It is the first time in history that we have a female political leader. That is change. It is the first time in history that we have had such young crop of people leading and taking up positions to become assemblymen. I listened to the opening of one of the electoral district offices, and I heard Mrs. Melville Jack indicating, well, I am the oldest of all of the members or the candidates now. But that is a good thing because she looks good, not so. But the point I am making, ladies and gentlemen, even the average age of the representatives of the People's National Movement has fallen drastically. So if you're asking for youth, we have youth on this side. Look at me, I'm not old. Look at Joel, he not old. Look at our current Chief Secretary, he not old. As a matter of fact, he boasts of the first in many things. First youngest Chief Secretary, first youngest this, first youngest that. But the point I am making, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you're asking for change and you want to see more young people, we have young people in the People's National Movement. Okay. And I just want to also add lastly, that if you're talking about ideas and you want new plans of action going forward, we have ideas in the People's National Movement as well. And these are ideas that are rooted in fact. These are ideas that will be backed up by finance. These are ideas that are not pulled out from the sky, and ideas that will be delivered to the people of Tobago come December 7, 2021, when we in the People's National Movement take office to continue to govern this island called Tobago. And so I just want to indicate to all of you who are listening this evening, and those of you who will benefit from this speech thereafter, the People's National Movement got you. And as the young people would say, we got your back. We are there for you. And under my leadership, I will ensure that whatever we say, that whatever we promise you, whether it be in our manifesto on this platform, that we are going to deliver for you. And all it's required is for you to go out on December 6th. Polls open from 6 o'clock in the morning. But I've met some people in the electoral district of Signal Hill, Patience Hill, who tell me that from as early as 5:30, they line up by the poll to vote the People's National Movement. And I encourage them to get there for 5 o'clock. But whatever the time is, all I'm saying to all of us, right, thinking Tobagonians, is to get yourselves ready. Take up your finger, don't leave it home, and go out there and vote for and solidly for the People's National Movement. And I don't know where we will be with the COVID at that time, because hearing the state of emergency may be over, but we are going to come down to either Balizé House or we will meet by Sid Gray Sport Complex. But wherever we meet, ladies and gentlemen, we will sing in one refrain, as we always do, that great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. We shall and will continue to treat with you. I thank you.
December 6th, take no chance. Protect your future. Vote PNM. Great is the PNM.